Have you ever wondered why some authors not only survive, but thrive through economic ups and downs? Do you want to build a sustainable, long term author based, book infused business so that you can weather any storm? Well, stay tuned to this episode of the Author Switch podcast because I'm going to be sharing some valuable tips that will help you recession proof your book infused business.
Are you an entrepreneur, small business owner, or consultant looking to boost your authority, influence, and impact? The Author Switch podcast with best-selling, award-winning author Carma Spence is your answer. Tune in for actionable advice, powerful strategies, and engaging interviews to turn on your author switch and take your business to the next dimension. The Author Switch.
Hello and welcome to the Author Switch podcast. I'm your host, Carma Spence, and I help entrepreneurs write and publish a lead and client attracting book in 90 days or less, and then market the heck out of it. Today, I'm going to be talking about how to recession proof your book infused business. Ups and downs in the economy are going to happen. They've happened in the past, they're going to happen in the future, they're happening now. And it is very effective if you can build a business that has enough different income streams that it can weather the ups and downs. Because if you put all your eggs in one basket, you might end up with a basket of broken eggs. And you don't want that because then you're not paying their rent. So here I go. I'm going to share these tips now. The first tip is to understand market trends. Always keep an eye out for what is coming, what has happened, and monitor it. There's only so much prediction that can happen, and predictions don't always come true. I know that right now because I've been having I have no idea how I got on like 10 million investment newsletters. Not my interest, but almost all of them were basically saying Biden's going to destroy the economy and go into Bitcoin or something like that. And I understand that I think it was the House of Representatives just said no. There's only so much a prediction can happen, but you just monitor it, be aware, and where you can, be prepared. So actionable steps that you can take to do this are to look at industry reports, subscribe to trend newsletters, and engage with reader communities to stay informed about what's going on in the literary world, if you are in some sort of literary genre, or just keep on top of what's going on in business news and how that might affect publishing. Tip number 2, diversify your income streams. Like I said, you don't want all your eggs in one basket. So yes, you can have an income stream from books. It probably won't be that big. But what is on the back end of those books, what those books lead to, maybe your high ticket, your mid ticket, and your low ticket offers, and always be willing to tweak your offers so that they are always staying attractive to your ideal clients. Now, for example, if you have a membership program, you may need to switch up the promise of that membership program as time evolves, because your members will say, you know what, when I first joined, this was something I'm interested in. Now I'm starting to feel this a little stagnant. Always be talking to your members and listening to what they want so that your membership can stay top of mind and you continue to get those monthly income. And a lot of companies that have these kind of models are really good at this. Like, follow what Netflix does. Netflix is really good at keeping its members staying for a long time. Same with Amazon Prime. Also, I know people who've been members since it started, which is like 15, 20 years now, which, oh my gosh, time flies. If you're doing the launch thing, stay on top of what's working in launches, because launches change. What worked last year in a launch may not necessarily work this year, and so on. So join a launch community and put your ear to the ground and understand what's going on. If you've got some other business model, I'm sure there's communities that follow that same model. Join those communities. Keep abreast of what's going on with those different business models to see, is it time for you to get out? Is it time for you to pivot? Is it time for you to tweak? Always stay on top of those things. For you to diversify your income, identify what it is you're really good at, and then make sure that you always include those skills you're really good at in your offerings. Tip number 3, build a strong author brand. I can't say this enough. And by the way, I am throwing what I'm calling Serve Up Your Book this summer. And one of the events that I will be holding is all about how to build a strong author brand. The reason why building a strong author brand helps you weather the storms of ups and downs is a strong author brand builds loyalty and builds a strong fan base. And that fan base is what will hold you through in down times and lift you up in up times, because people who love you and what you do are attracted to your author brand. They're attracted to that brand. So it's very important to do that. Elements of a strong author brand is a clear brand message and then consistently communicating it. Have in the back of your mind your brand promise so that everything you do delivers on that promise. Tip number 4, leverage technology and automation. Technology streamlines what you do so that you can spend more time in your brilliance and in the visioning of your business, as well as keeping track of all these trends. And some of this trend tracking can also be automated. And keep on top of what new technologies are coming in and how can you leverage them to give you more time to offer better offerings. So for example, here's an example. AI came out, boom. Now there's all these tools that are AI infused that can help you build value adds to what you're already doing. And since people are really excited about AI, sometimes just the fact that it's AI infused is exciting and gets people. That won't always be the case. Trust me, that will not always be the case. But these tools will help you. For example, there's this one company I've had conversations with called Magic Bookify. And what you do with this software, and they're improving it all the time. I haven't tested it recently. I intend to. I just have been too busy. But you upload an audio and the AI behind the scenes analyzes that audio and then spits out an ebook. Now, when I tested it several months ago, that ebook definitely needed some editing. I'm not sure where it's now. It'll probably always need editing because even human written stuff needs editing. But it can cut down the amount of time it takes for you to create, say, a lead gen. You can take one of your webinars or seminars that was really popular and turn it into an ebook that you can use as a lead generation device. So there are tools out there that can really help you that are leveraging AI to make your job easier and go much faster. So keep on top of tech trends. They can help you and they can help you add value to what you offer, thus helping sustain your business. Tip number 5, networking and collaboration. Always stay abreast of networking and collaboration opportunities. It's by partnering with others that you're able to grow your list, your platform, and continually grow it because that's so important. Always having a growing email list. Those times in my life where my email list has been stagnant have been painful because the people who are already on the list, they may love you, they may stay on your list, or they may not even read your email, but they've already bought all your stuff. You need new people coming in, or you need to keep doing new stuff, and that gets tiring too. So if you're constantly growing your list, you always have new people for the stuff you already have, and you can always develop new stuff for the people who have been there for a while. And if you do both things, that helps make your business more sustainable. That was the first 5 tips. I have 4 more, and I will give those to you right after this special message.
In a world teeming with thoughts and opportunities, one writer embarks on the most daring adventure of all to turn a momentary idea into a book that will grow her business exponentially. With the right roadmap in hand, our heroine sets forth into the unknown, determined to navigate the labyrinth of her expertise, knowledge, and wisdom. Through treacherous terrain of tangents and the forest of ephemeral ideas, she plots a course true and clear. Each chapter a step closer to the treasure of a completed manuscript. Guided by the methodology within All You Need Is the Right Roadmap, our intrepid author learns to navigate these challenges, transforming them into stepping stones toward her goal. In the end, the map she's created is more than just an outline. It's a custom-tailored roadmap guiding her from the chaos of ideas to the clarity of a book that's ready to be written. Your journey begins with a single map. With All You Need Is the Right Roadmap, discover the art of the perfect outline. Go to Amazon.com and embark on your quest today.
Hello and welcome back to the Author Switch podcast. I am your host, Carma Spence, and I help entrepreneurs write a client-attracting book in 90 days or less, and then market it until it's irrelevant. Before the break, I shared with you 5 tips to make your business more resilient during economic ups and downs. I talked about studying market trends and keeping abreast of those, diversifying your income streams, building a strong author brand, leveraging technology and automation, and finally, networking and collaborating with other authors and business owners. Now I have 4 more tips to help you build a more resilient book-infused business. The next one is creating evergreen content. Evergreen content is timeless because it has something that is universal and that is not likely to change. It's probably principle-based, and you want to have some of that content in your content inventory because then you don't have to keep reinventing the wheel. How do you create this evergreen content? You focus on universal themes and topics that are not time sensitive. And you can update and repurpose older content to keep it fresh and relevant. I recommend doing that with your blog. And in fact, I've been in the process for a year. I have a lot of content. I am in the process of doing that right now. In fact, a few weeks ago, I released a blog post that had started its life off as how to market your book on Twitter. Well, Twitter doesn't exist because it's now X. And X has new features that Twitter did not have. So I wrote this blog post on how you can leverage X to best effect to market your books. Basically, I kept the content that still worked, and I added in new content that makes use of these new features and fresh content for my blog. Another thing you can do to make your content last longer is you can take content that you had in one format and multi-purpose it into other formats. So for example, and I've done this where I take a blog post that I particularly liked, and then I read it into a microphone or in front of a camera, and voila, I've got a video, I've got audio. Now I can turn it into a podcast. I can turn it into shorts. I can do all sorts of things with that. I can also go the reverse. I can take an episode of The Author Switch, transcribe it, turn it into a blog post, turn it into an opt-in, turn it into all sorts of things. And I've actually done that too. You take your content and you repurpose it into multi-different things so that you can reach your ideal clients no matter where they are. Next thing, we've got financial planning and management. Okay, this is important. This is important. You need to understand what your numbers are so that you know when they're getting better and you know when they're going south so that you can prevent them from going south too much. I'm not going to say that I am an expert in staying on top of finances. I'm not. Numbers are not my thing. Words are. But I do know enough to watch what I've got, understand where it's going, where it's coming, and how to mitigate when it's not going where I want it to go. And I also know when to hire help. So create a detailed budget to track your income and expenses, and then monitor it at least quarterly. Monthly is better. I tend to monitor my finances weekly. I might be a little late, but it makes me feel better that way. And then set aside funds for taxes in case you need it. And if you're making regular money every month, you're going to have to pay quarterly taxes, their estimated taxes. So stay on top of that, because if you don't, you get penalties at the end of the year. Been there, done that. Not so fun. Also, put aside some in your savings. If you're familiar with T. Harv Eker and his JARS system, I actually have savings accounts for some of my JARS, and I put money into those JARS. They're virtual JARS, because I have a bank account that lets me have multiple savings accounts. And if you have Ally, which is an online banking company, you don't even have to have separate savings account. You're able to identify within your savings account these certain buckets, which is really handy too. So you could actually turn those buckets into JARS. I don't follow the system as religiously as he outlines it. I will put a link to a summary of his JARS system in the show notes, but you can just Google T. Harv Eker JARS, and it'll tell you the different jars that you should put like 10% here and 10% there. And if you do that over time, you build up financial resilience. You can also use financial software to help you do a lot of this stuff. QuickBooks or Quicken, FreshBooks can all help you. I use Quicken myself. I don't use QuickBooks. I use Quicken. It has the feature that you can actually connect it to your bank account, then it'll automatically update. I don't like doing that, because again, I'm retentive, a little bit of a control freak. I like to do it myself, but you don't have to. There's all these systems out there that can do it for you. You can also hire an accountant and have them do it. There's always that option. Hire an accountant, let them do it. The next tip, number 8, maintaining work-life balance. All this is so important, and I struggle with it. I struggle with it dearly, because right now I have a day job and I do my business on the side while I'm trying to grow it so that I can kick my day job. But that hasn't happened yet. So I'm busy. I'm very, very busy. And it gets hard to do self-care and to spend time with loved ones. And it's hard. I understand. I get it. It's hard. But it should be, if it's not happening now, then it should at least be on your to-do list so that you're working toward that goal. Because if you're not taking care of yourself and taking care of the ones you love, then why are you in business? Just saying. Okay. Last tip, number 9, prepare for economic downturns, because they will happen. Like deaths and taxes, they will happen. When the economy tanks, sometimes it's not the economy as a whole, maybe it's just your own personal economy. Like, I had a friend who lost a $4,000 a month client and had to figure out how to refill that income. Now this person had savings and had a buffer, so it wasn't devastating, which is another reason why you might want to have those jars. Put things in the jars so that you have those buffers. So you want to build an emergency fund that has, ideally, my personal goal for my emergency fund is 3 months salary. Have 3 months in there and don't touch it. It's there in case the sky falls. And then diversify your income streams so that if one income stream dries up, the others will hold you until you're able to get another one going. You don't want to rely on only one source of income, because you never know when that source of income will be taken away. I had a client who was a regular client for years. And then one day she called me and said, I'm going into hospice because I have stage 4 cancer and I'm dying. And she died fast. And it was very painful. I mean, financially, I guess a little bit, but honestly, it was more painful because we were working on rebuilding, getting her more visible, because she had written this amazing book about ADD. She was like one of the founders of ADHD coaching, and she really deserved to be well known, in my opinion. We were working toward that, and then it all got taken away from her. So you never know. You never know when things go south. They could go south at any moment. So always be prepared. Always have that emergency fund. And be flexible to new opportunities as they arrive, because they always will. They always will. I have a great faith that God always takes care of things in the end. Sometimes there's a bit of yuckiness in between, but it always works out in the end. Reevaluate your budget and expenses regularly, because sometimes things will change and you won't, oh, I don't really need that, or I want to shift it over here, or maybe this software will take care of a bunch of other software and save me money. I recommend doing like a full budget sweep at least once a year, ideally every quarter. I like to look at it on a monthly basis, just like on a high level. But doing that helps you stay on top of trends that are going on in your finances. So there you go. 9 tips to help you be a more resilient author-based business. Again, they are understanding market trends, diversifying your income, building a strong author brand, leveraging technology and automation to make your life more efficient, networking and collaboration, evergreen content that helps bring in new people into your world without you doing much else, financial planning and management, maintaining a work-life balance, and preparing for economic downturns. I hope you found this episode worthwhile and that some of my tips were helpful. Stay tuned for next week when I will be back talking about something else. This is Carma Spence saying ciao for now.
If you've enjoyed this episode of the Author Switch podcast and would like to show your support, there are a few ways that you can do that. First, I encourage you to subscribe to the podcast so you never miss an episode. Additionally, leaving a rating and review would greatly help me reach more listeners and continue providing valuable content. To stay up to date with the Author Switch podcast and gain access to additional information on amplifying your authority, influence, and thought leadership through books, you can follow me on LinkedIn at Carma Spence. For those interested in catching up on previous episodes, including those no longer available on podcast platforms, you can find them all at authorswitch.com/episodes, where you can choose to watch or listen to them at your convenience. Thank you so much for your support and for being a part of the Author Switch community.